Hey Russ, let's talk about the equipment that we might need if we held hybrid society meetings.
That's a great topic.
Yep, we planned it. We're good at that. All right. Previously, we talked about your society leadership making decisions about whether or not you would use Zoom meeting technology or Zoom webinar technology, whether or not you'd record the session. About speaker contracts, we're up to equipment. So let's go for it. Now, we're not talking about the equipment that your remote attendees are dealing with. And it doesn't matter what kind of meeting we're planning to host. Once you have a Zoom account, you'll find that, yeah, that board meeting is much easier to attend virtually than all trying to get together, traveling as we do. So this diagram is an example of some of your people will be on their home computers and connect via Zoom so they can see Cousin Russ if he's the, well, heavens, if he's the virtual presenter. Sorry about that. And some of your people will be in the library, your normal meeting room, the senior center, wherever it is you normally meet. But they're all tuning in via Zoom, and with the right equipment, they can hear each other. Now, you could also have this possibility where the presenter is in the room at the library, and that person stands at the podium, and your tech people have connected to Zoom so that all the remote people on their individual computers can participate as attendees. Now, I know this is going to sound scary, but it really is easy and fun. All right, we're going to look at this from what it looks like and what would be needed in a meeting room, and also what remote attendees need. Now, let's talk about the remote attendees first. Societies are going to need to prepare their attendees with information to facilitate a good connection to the meeting room, unless they've been attending Salt Lake Institute and Maggie, Midwest African American Genealogical Institute, or Genealogical Research Institute of Pittsburgh. I could go on and on. We had to learn from Roots Tech where to go to see the keynotes, right? So you society leaders need to inform your remote attendees how to participate. So Russ, go for it.
What we recommend for the remote attendee, those are like you attendees here tonight, we find that a high-speed wired connection is the best, and that being connected directly to your computer. We also find that headsets and mics or earbuds are for us listening and speaking. I can't live without a headset. There's too much background noise, traffic, who knows, birds on the bird feeder, and also webcam. As your remote attendee in a webinar, webcam may not be necessary, but if you have most laptops, most computers have them built in already today.
Yeah, and the equipment is getting better and more sensitive as people finally eschewed their Windows 7 and Windows 8 computers, for instance. We used to not even recommend earbuds with that inline mic, but it's sounding pretty good nowadays. Now, as far as the home setting, here's a few pointers, guys. To increase the bandwidth available for your society's attendees, you need to Advise them to turn off their email program, close all the other windows and tabs and everything else. Turn off Sync and Dropbox and Backblaze, which I have to do that myself before every webinar. Have everything else closed except for Zoom. That gives the best possible reception to your attendees' home computers. And if they're going to be appearing on camera, even though Zoom has adjusted, even in their most recent update, to adjust for low light setting, which is usually the problem, you know, have them practice. Open your meetings 15 to 20 minutes early so that people can test out their webcam till they get the hang of it. But Russ, remember the difference between last June 2020 and last fall, just 4 or 5 months later, people were so much more adept at Zoom because they'd been going to classes. This is another issue. If you've got kids at home, this is a tough week because there's hybrid school situations. And if they are on the internet, if your meeting attendees have members of their household who are live streaming video, attending another Zoom meeting, or on the internet, you may have compromised sound. Best thing you can do is turn off your webcam. Same thing for a presenter. So what's your favorite webcam?
My favorite webcam is the Logitech C920.
Yeah, there should be a C in front of that 920. And they've come back down in price. They went up to like $300. Now they're down to the normal 90 something. These are the two USB headsets, or no, lapel mics I've used when presenting in person, where some of the people attending were virtual. That way I could hear what the host was saying, and the meeting room was fine. They had a different speaker system, but I needed to have a mic that was close to my face so that, and it would go through the computer as that USB lavalier lapel mic.
Could you go back to the C920 for a second? Because
Sure.
there's an advantage to this particular webcam.
Yeah.
That what you're seeing is the configuration if you're going to clip it to your monitor, which I have right now in front of me. But the base of that also has a tripod connection that you can put in. So when, and I think we'll see later, well, where that webcam is on a tripod facing the audience.
Yeah, or you could do like I did once. I just put it backwards on my laptop and use that so the audience could, the remote audience could see the in-person audience, and yet everyone can see me through my laptop's webcam. So I had the laptop. All I had to do was get this. And technically speaking, this has a built-in mic. And it's sounding better and better because of improvements in Zoom technology. Thanks for bringing that up, Russ. All right. Now, I don't know what kind of equipment your society has. When it was the olden days, and we met at the Manatee Central Public Library, their computer projector was ancient. It wasn't even SD quality. So the society bought their own computer projector. You can get a pretty good one for about $500 to $600. You certainly have got to have an HDMI cable. But nowadays, for the meeting room, most likely that library meeting room or that senior center meeting room already has a computer projector. If it's not locked up in a closet to come out, it might be built into the ceiling. And they run a cord, an HDMI cable that goes to the podium to hook up with the in-person presenter laptop.
The beauty about HDMI versus what's on the screen right now
Yeah, that's old
is
VGA.
the sound and the video are two different things for that projector. The new projectors that are available to us are HDMI, which has both the sound and the video.
So if I had hooked up with this is actually my old Epson, I think it is.
Yeah, it looks like mine.
And I have a newer one that doesn't have this SD. But you see, if I wanted to play a video, excuse me, with sound, I would have to hook up the audio and external speakers so that people could hear the sound. But since we have HDMI, it's all in one cable. That's kind of techy. But there's probably a member of your society that understands this. And you can pause this video, replay it again and again. Talk to me about the dry run, Cousin Russ.
The dry run is probably the most important thing that we'll talk about during this segment. You need a couple of people involved to do this. Somebody at home on a computer that can see what is being presented or being able to hear or speak for the people in the room. So you need someone virtually. Backup computer. You need to have a backup computer. And the purpose of the dry run is to do the technical stuff. And the stuff means sound and video. Chances are the facility where you're going to do the presentation will have an IT person, a technical person who knows how their internal system works. And because some libraries have the ability to throttle or slow down the internet connection because they don't want anybody live streaming from a room. So the IT person would know how to unthrottle or to boost that speed back up. And the interconnection between the computer that's being used, the video projector that's being used, and the sound needs to be tested so that the person at home remote can hear and can be heard in the room itself.
All right, I totally agree with it. Sometimes the IT and sound person are the same people,
Correct.
but I've seen them as two different people.
And we have it on the screen that it's two different people, but you're right. And it also may be that IT person is shared across libraries. So it's important that you build in that in the contract when the dry run is, so that your person at the facility can get the IT person in the room with the people that are doing the dry run. And I've done a number of dry runs, so I know from experience that it's most important to do that, to make sure the sound and the video work the way you expect it to.
And you need to do it a week or so, a week beforehand, not the day beforehand. And you're absolutely correct that there needs to be somebody on their home computer who joins in at the same time and says, no, the sound is too soft, yeah.
Or the one that I ran into that was that there was a door open in the back of the room that threw too much light on the screen. So people couldn't see it. So it's that kind of thing. It's 10 minutes with the right people and you're done, but it's worthwhile.
Yep. it's a good idea. Now, if you do it more than a week ahead of time, there could be new equipment installed. You just don't know. Zoom could have updated and changed, etc. Now, we're assuming in the meeting room that, like the home attendees, you've got wired internet, large screen. The sound system could be built in. Usually they have a mic system. You're going to provide a webcam. Now, I put tripod and empty chair. And that is, the empty chair is if somebody has a question during Q&A, they come up and sit in the empty chair and line up to the side of it so they can be next. That way I can better hear them speak if there is not a handheld roving mic that's part of the equipment in that particular meeting room. It works very smoothly. Yeah. Laptop lapel mic, which we've told you about. And on that meeting room computer, like if I bring my computer, I've got to turn off email, sync, Dropbox, Backblaze, any of those memory resident programs that are not essential to my giving the presentation, and everything except Zoom. And adjusting the lighting, sometimes the overhead lighting just happens to hit the speaker oddly. So like God speaking to him or something. I don't mean to take that lightly. I'm just saying, or to use his name lightly or her name lightly. But moving the podium 3 inches one way or the other can definitely help with the lighting and with the view. Part of a virtual meeting, an essential part of a virtual meeting, is the eye contact that the presenter can give to the virtual attendees. You know, if you go to an in-person meeting and the person just reads their paper and their talk like this, it's not as engaging. And from a presenter point of view, I like to see what people in the audience are thinking and reacting. And sometimes I know to hurry this part up or to slow this part down and rephrase. Yeah, it's all fun, that interactivity. So those are the things to consider about the equipment. Did we tell you you needed to have, you know, $1,200 worth of video cam equipment? No, a webcam. It doesn't have to be a C920. We just like that one a lot. It's very good. All right, Cousin Russ, what should we talk about next?
How you set up your meeting room.
Yeah, we've got some specific diagrams coming up in the next segment. So there's nothing left to say but happy family tree climbing, everybody. That's a wrap.